Hi guys, today I want to talk about general liability for garage insurance. So I'm talking to my auto dealers out there, I'm talking to my mechanics, people that own body shops, tire dealers, things like that. So if you have garage insurance, you have to have general liability as a part of that overall coverage. So I'm going to get into exactly what general liability does for you in this particular instance and what it doesn't do, so you can be confident going forward knowing how this covers you. Okay, so let's talk about what general liability does, what it's for, why you need it. So really, it does a lot of things, but I'm going to go over the three main things that it does for you specifically as a person that needs garage insurance. So let's look at it. The first thing that it does is it protects you from a premises perspective. So you have a place where your business actually is, the physical location of your building, of your lot, or whatever it is. So if someone comes on to that property and they get injured, this covers it. General liability covers anyone getting hurt that you could be responsible for the accident. So if they walk onto your property, they slip somewhere in the lot, they fall, they get hurt, they hold you responsible. This will cover their medical expenses. It'll cover any legal fees that come out of that injury. Does that make sense? So that's the number one thing that it does. Okay, so the second way that general liability protects you is from personal injury, also called advertising injury. So what that is if you say something or you put an ad out there, you do something that puts a word out about someone else. They hold you responsible. They say that's a lie, that's a slander, that's libel, something like that. This will protect you from any legal ramifications that come out of that. And remember, going online nowadays and saying something on Facebook or on Twitter or whatever your social media preference is, if you're talking trash about somebody else and it's not true, they can hold you responsible and sue you. So make sure you've got general liability to cover you if you're out there running your mouth. Okay, so the third thing that general liability protects you from are damages that come about because of faulty work you've performed, typically in this instance on someone else's vehicle. So if you are working on someone's brakes, you don't actually repair it correctly, they would drive 50 miles down the road, get into an accident because of that, and there are damages associated with that accident. General liability will cover those damages, especially any legal fees, bodily injury things that happen to other people. Now, there are other coverages that will protect you from this if it happens on your lot. But if it's out into the world and it's because of faulty work, general liability will protect you if something happens. So now we know kind of what general liability does. But what does it not do? General liability is not for your stuff, right? That's something else, and that's something else we cover in another video. It doesn't cover anything to do with non-owned vehicles, right? So if you have the vehicles of others, usually if you're working on them, right? If you're a mechanic or if you're a dealer, that does that for other people. Anything that happens to the body of those vehicles, right? That's covered under garage keepers. Anything that happens from a liability standpoint with a non-owned vehicle, that's garage liability. So there are other policies that protect you in the ways that general liability cannot. Another thing that general liability does not do is protect you from any criminal negligence, right? So if you've done something dishonest, something illegal, and you're trying to get away with it, general liability is not going to cover that. So typically, anything that general liability does not do, there's another policy that should be a part of your garage insurance package that will protect you. So the thing about general liability that's so important is, in a way, it's like a blanket or an umbrella or a parachute, however you want to phrase it. Other policies cover very specific things that can happen. If this hits a non-owned vehicle, it is covered by this policy. But in general liability, what you're really talking about is a protection that can cover you from a whole host of things from a legal perspective. So if you are in trouble and you have to go to court for something, if someone is suing you for something, General liability is going to be the coverage that can protect you from just about any kind of lawsuit. So if I haven't mentioned it specifically before, that includes workers' compensation insurance, which we'll talk about in another video, general liability probably covers it. So it is the thing that can save you from an entire list of huge accidents that could be the difference between you staying in business or surviving and thriving. So I hope that helped kind of break down why general liability is so important. I mean, it is one of the most vital coverages you can possibly have if you're in business. If you found this useful and you think, gosh, these guys really know what they're talking about, then you probably should reach out and talk to us more. Go ahead and click the link below and you can schedule a time to speak with one of our really amazing agents who specialize in garage insurance and can walk you through exactly why you need garage liability, why you need garage keepers, why you need general liability, and they can make sure you have enough of it. Thanks so much, and we'll be talking to you soon.